Everybody, welcome to Fall Talk. It's been a few days. I've been down into Myrtle Beach helping our sister station there deal with Matthew. A lot of flooding. I'm sure you guys have seen the images there, especially for inland areas. The river's all the way into North Carolina. The amount of rain that fell in that area was just tremendous. In fact, the amount of moisture, by the way, that was associated with Hurricane Matthew, it set records for the highest amount of moisture content they've ever had in that area, the Carolinas, in October. So the amount of water was tremendous, and that was probably certainly the bigger threat they had to deal with. Back here at home, we are not. No, in fact, we're doing great compared to what our friends are doing down in the Carolinas. And by the way, they are still dealing with this, and they're going to all the way through at least Halloween, if not longer. We got a front. It's actually a couple of fronts are moving through. We'll get a few showers from this, maybe a few rumbles of thunder in the western counties, but not a big deal. You can check out our app for more on that. I'm going to focus more on the other headlines. And that is, when are we going to see a cool down? When are we going to get cold? When are we going to get a frost? Because our typical first frost here in the city is about mid-October. I've noticed some outlying areas like Bedford down to Paoli, Brandenburg, and even to the east in Shelbyville. You guys should have already had your first frost. And frost, by definition, from the Weather Service, 36 degrees or colder. Again, it's with the clear sky, light winds, kind of a deal. So we're behind in many areas. And we're about to be behind here in Louisville. Looking at last year, we had patchy frost. We got to about 37 degrees in the city. Some of you did have a killing frost at that point, 18th and 19th of last year, but I'm looking at city of Louisville. Patchy frost, we had to wait until mid-November to get a killing frost for our growing season to end here in the metro. And once that happens, by the way, they will stop issuing those frost and freeze alerts that we are so accustomed to until the spring. But we have not gotten to that point, obviously, so we still have time to deal with. So, how are things looking? Well, I do see a low pressure moving in. Now, we got some differences in the models for next week. There's one, the GFS especially is pretty aggressive at the front coming in Tuesday, Wednesday. The Euro is more of a glancing blow. This is it here. It kind of just rolls on us in effect. We'll see how it plays out. I think the Euro idea of a more progressive pattern with the front is more likely than a more slower, deeper solution the GFS does have. However, toward the 21st to the 23rd, the Euro does have a stronger low pressure that is forecast to move through the Midwest. This one does have a better chance to dig into the area, and I'll explain why that is in just a second. But it, potential is there for thunderstorms with that too. Keep in mind we usually have severe weather in the fall. In fact, I'm coming up on my 6-year anniversary here at WAVE, and my first day we had a high risk of severe weather. So this is not unusual, but it's been quiet. We haven't had a drop of rain in so far this month, and we need the rain, and we may get some in the form of thunderstorms later if this were to play out. But more importantly, it has a better chance to pull down that colder air. In fact, some of the models, here are the from Weather Bell. This is the Canadian ensemble. This is the chance of getting below 40 degrees around that period I was showing you, 21st to the 23rd of October. And it's putting us, in general, I would say about 30 to 50% chance. Not overly high chance, but it is there. It is the highest that we'll have for the month that is showing up. When you look at the ensembles from the GFS itself, and again, the ensembles from these models kind of look at the potential ranges. Because confidence is higher, shorter in time, because you're shorter in time, get more data to work with. And confidence, the range becomes longer on between these two blue lines because confidence goes out the further in time you go. But notice as we head into about the 21st through the 24th, potential is there to get us to that mark, which is 36, which is about here. So that's why, again, I'm aiming toward that period based on the ensembles. It even shows even colder shot, by the way, after that. Looking at the Euro, similar. It does also show the potential as we head toward that same range for us to get into that level of maybe our first frost. So I'm aiming toward that period here after the 20th for maybe our first frost to take place. And one thing that may be a catalyst to that is the lovely and very well appreciated recurving typhoon theory. Typhoons in the Western Pacific around Japan, when they recurve, usually about 7, maybe up to 10 days down the road, they can lead to cold air into the eastern United States. And looking at this is how it works. Let me move the map over. So you get a recurving typhoon out here in the Western Pacific. It crosses over, becomes just a strong area of low pressure. It pumps in a ridge across the western areas of the Pacific, or Eastern Pacific, I say, Western United States, and that in turn allows for the trough to dig in the east. So, based on that, the typhoon is expected to recurve as we head into this upcoming weekend. So we go 7 days or so from that. Turns out that's going to put us between 22nd and 25th of October. So there's a lot of factors, a lot of support for that time range. And that's where I'll leave it for today. Have a good one.